Children, good morning. This is my lecture number 1 for class 12th, subject English, for chapter number 5, Indigo, written by Louis Fisher from your main course book Flamingo. Children, in this lecture number 1 of chapter number 5, I will be teaching you from page number 46 to 48, and I'll give you the introduction of the author named Louis Fisher. I'll give the introduction of the chapter, and then we will be proceeding with the text and its explanation. So let's begin the chapter. So children, we'll begin the chapter with the introduction of the author. The author's name is Louis Fisher, who was born in Philadelphia in 1896. Philadelphia is the largest city in Pennsylvania, and Louis Fisher served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1918 and 1920. Fisher made a career as a journalist and wrote the New York Times, the Saturday Review, and for European and Asian publications. He was also a member of the faculty at Princeton University. The following is an excerpt means a part, from his book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. The book has been reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Gandhi by Times Educational Supplement. And this Louis Fisher died in 1970. Now we will begin the introduction of the chapter. Children, this story of Indigo is based on the interview of Mahatma Gandhi that was taken by this writer Louis Fisher. In order to write on him, he had visited him in 1942 at his ashram, Sevagram, where he was told about the Indigo movement started by Gandhiji. Now here you need to understand the meaning of indigo. Indigo is basically a name of a plant which is used to dye clothes. It is basically in West Bengal, and Britishers forced there the poor peasants to grow indigo for them. Okay, I repeat, indigo is the name of a plant which is used to dye clothes, and it is basically in West Bengal, and the Britishers forced Indian peasants to grow indigo for the benefit of the British. So, in order to write on Gandhiji, this author Louis Fisher visited him in 1942 at his ashram Sevagram, where he was told about his indigo movement, and the whole story of indigo revolves around the struggle of Gandhi and other prominent leaders in order to safeguard sharecroppers from the atrocities of landlords. So children, let's begin with the text on page number 46. The chapter begins with the lines, "When I first visited Gandhiji in 1942, I in this line refers to the author, that is Louis Fisher. When I first visited Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India, he said, I'll tell you how it happened that I decided to urge the departure of the British. It was in 1917. Urge means request, right? He had gone to the December 1916 annual convention. Convention is a general meeting of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. There were 2,301 delegates. Delegates means representatives, and many other visitors. During the proceedings, Gandhi recounted, a peasant came up to me looking like any other peasant in India, poor and emaciated. Emaciated means weakened, very weak, and said, I am Rajkumar Shukla. I am from Champaran and I want you to come to my district. Gandhi had never heard of this place. It was in the foothills of the towering Himalayas near the kingdom of Nepal. Children, in these lines, if you see, the author explains about his interaction, his meeting with Mahatma Gandhi. He says that he first met Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram, which was in Sevagram. It was located in central India. Gandhi said he would tell him about his struggle against the British, which first took place in the year 1917. He says that in the month of December and in the year 1916, Mahatma Gandhi went to attend the annual meeting of the Indian National Congress at Lucknow. There were about 2,301 representatives and visitors. Gandhi recalled that a small farmer named Rajkumar Shukla came to him, who was a poor and thin. And that poor farmer requested Gandhi to visit Champaran, a place in the foothills of the Himalayas mountain range near the kingdom of Nepal. Now the writer writes about sharecropper's problem. Children, under an ancient arrangement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. Sharecroppers, farmers who get share of crop. Sharecroppers means a tenant farmer who gives a part of each crop as rent. Means the Indian peasants were hired by the British to work on their land, and the amount was paid as rent to work on the land. Under an ancient arrangement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers, and Rajkumar Shukla was one of them. He was illiterate but resolute. Resolute means determined. He had come to the Congress session to complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar, and somebody had probably said, "Speak to Gandhi." In these lines, he told Gandhi that he was a sharecropper. Who was a sharecropper? Rajkumar Shukla, who met Gandhiji there, and he told him that he was a sharecropper, and sharecropper is a farmer who gives a part of the crop as rent to the owner of that piece of land that he cultivates. He told him that because of an old agreement, many of the peasants in Champaran were sharecroppers. He had come to meet Gandhi on someone's suggestion, as he was really resolute and determined to find a solution for the sharecroppers who were facing hardships due to this agreement. Therefore, he requested Gandhiji to help him out. Now the writer writes about Shukla's relentless efforts, unstoppable efforts of Shukla to convince Gandhiji to visit Champaran. We are reading from page number 47. Children need to be attentive. We are reading the text now. Gandhiji told Shukla he had an appointment in Kanpur. Kanpur was an old name of Kanpur and was also committed to go to other parts of India. Shukla accompanied him everywhere. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. Shukla followed him to the ashram. For weeks he never left Gandhi's side. He begged, "Fix a date." So after listening the problem of Rajkumar Shukla about sharecropping, Gandhiji told him that he had to visit Kanpur and some other parts of India due to prior appointments. Shukla went with him everywhere. After this, Gandhiji returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad, and Shukla was always there with him for several weeks, and he was begging him to fix a date to visit Champaran. That was the best example of his determination, that he followed Gandhiji everywhere and he kept on begging him to fix a date to visit Champaran. Now, in further lines, he writes about their visit at the lawyer's house. Gandhiji got impressed with the tenacity of the poor sharecropper, that was Rajkumar Shukla. Okay, what he says further, let's read from the text on page number 47. Impressed by the sharecropper's tenacity. Tenacity means firmness. And story. Gandhi said, I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Come and meet me and take me from there. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches. Haunches means thighs. He kept on sitting. This is actually written to express the expression that he was ready to take Gandhi, means he was actively sitting at the appointment spot in Calcutta when Gandhi arrived. He waited till Gandhi was free. Then the two of them boarded a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. There Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad. Children, don't get confused between Rajendra Prasad and Rajkumar Shukla. I tell you, Rajkumar Shukla was a poor farmer and a sharecropper, though Rajendra Prasad was the president of Congress party and he was a lawyer, right? So Rajendra Prasad was out of town, but the servants knew Shukla as a poor yeoman. Yeoman means a man who cultivates a small piece of land, who pestered their master. Pestered means troubled. Their master to help the indigo sharecroppers. So they let him stay on the grounds with his companion Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasant. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well, lest some drops from his bucket pollute the entire source. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? So, in these lines, as Gandhiji was impressed by the determination of the poor peasant Rajkumar Shukla, he told him that he would be visiting Kolkata after a few months and then Shukla should meet him there. On the day that Gandhiji had been fixed to visit, Shukla was eagerly waiting for Gandhi's arrival. When Gandhi got free, they both took a train to Patna and they went to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad, who later became the President of India. When they reached there, he was not at home, and the servants allowed both of them to stay at the grounds because they knew Shukla, who used to visit their master in order to resolve the problem of sharecropping. And they thought that this fellow had come again as it was his regular routine. Then they knew him, and because Shukla was accompanied or Gandhiji was accompanied by Shukla, so they thought Gandhi also to be another peasant. And they did not let him take out the water for drinking from the well because they knew that the poor people like Shukla, if they touch the water, then they will be polluting the entire land. So Gandhiji also sat on ground with Shukla and waited for some time for Rajendra Prasad. He writes about Gandhi decided to go to Muzaffarpur. Children, I am reading the text on page number 47, last para. Gandhi decided to go first to Muzaffarpur, which was en route to Champaran, to obtain more complete information about conditions than Shukla was capable of imparting. He accordingly sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur, whom he had seen at Tagore's Shantiniketan school. The train arrived at midnight, 15 April 1917. Kriplani was waiting at the station with a large body of students. Gandhi stayed there for 2 days in the home of Professor Malkani, a teacher in a government school. Children, in these lines, as Shukla was not able to provide Gandhi with adequate information about sharecropping by the British, therefore Gandhi decided to go to Muzaffarpur, which was on the way to Champaran, to obtain the complete information regarding the matter. And He also sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani, who was a teacher of Arts College in Muzaffarpur. Gandhiji had seen him at Tagore's Shantiniketan school, so Gandhi took a train to Muzaffarpur that arrived at midnight on 15th April 1917. Kriplani was already waiting there with his students, and Gandhi stayed there for 2 days at Professor Malkani's home, who was a teacher in a government school. So you would have understood here why Gandhiji not moved directly to Champaran, but he decided first to go to Muzaffarpur because he wanted to get the complete information which he could not get through Shukla. For the same reason, first he stayed at the lawyer's house. Who was the lawyer? Rajendra Prasad, right? And there he could not meet Rajendra Prasad as he was not present at his home. So he decided that he would go first to Muzaffarpur, and from there he would gather all the information regarding the matter, and then he will proceed further. So there at Muzaffarpur, Gandhiji stayed for 2 days at Professor Malkani's home, who was a teacher in a government school. Now we will be reading the text given on page number 48. It was an extraordinary thing in those days, Gandhi commented. Extraordinary means exceptionable, exceptional or remarkable. So why did Gandhiji say that it was an extraordinary thing? Because he had been staying at Professor Malkani's place, who was a government teacher, right? So he said it was an extraordinary thing in those days for a government professor to harbor. Harbor means to entertain or to give shelter a man like me. Me means Gandhi. In smaller localities, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of Home Rule. Children, sympathy means support, or advocate, supporter or protector. And Gandhiji was an advocate of Home Rule, right? So he passed a comment after staying at Malkani's house that it's really tough for him to give him shelter because he was a government teacher, and people usually do not show sympathy for the advocates of Home Rule. The news of Gandhi's advent means arrival, and of the nature of his mission spread quickly through Muzaffarpur and to Champaran. Sharecroppers from Champaran began arriving on foot and by conveyance to see their champion. Who was their champion? Gandhiji. Muzaffarpur lawyers called on Gandhi to brief him. They frequently represented peasant groups in court. They told him about their cases and reported the size of their fee. So, according to Gandhiji, it was a remarkable thing that a government professor was entertaining him, because in those days people in small localities were afraid of supporting those who supported home rules. The news of Gandhiji's arrival there at Muzaffarpur spread like a jungle fire, and the purpose of his mission was also spread, right? And it spread from Muzaffarpur to Champaran very fast. Then sharecroppers started to visit him. Muzaffarpur lawyers informed Gandhi about the whole situation as they represented various peasants in the court. They explained to him about their cases and the fee they charged from those poor peasants. Now the writer writes about Englishmen forced the peasants to cultivate indigo on the land. And before this, Gandhiji, after listening from the advocates that they had been charging high fees from the poor peasants to fight their cases into court, Gandhiji chided the lawyers for collecting big fee. Chided means rebuked, scolded, right? He scolded the lawyers for collecting big fee from the sharecroppers. He said, I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to law courts. Taking such cases to the courts does little good, where the peasants are so crushed and fear stricken. Fear stricken means afraid, right? Law courts are useless. The real relief for them is to free from fear. Children, here you need to understand the line. Here he says that the real relief for them is to be free from the fear of the British. Right. Then he writes, most of the arable land. Arable means land suitable for farming, land fit for tilling. Right. Most of the arable land in the Champaran district was divided into large estates that was owned by Englishmen and worked by Indian tenants. The chief commercial crop was indigo. The landlords compelled means forced. They forced these tenants to plant 3/20th or 15% of their holdings with indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as rent to them. This was done by long-term contract. Here it is really very important part of the chapter that you need to understand. Gandhiji scolded the lawyers there at Muzaffarpur for charging such high fee from the poor sharecroppers. He decided that it was useless to go to the courts as the judiciary was not doing anything good for the peasants. He said, as long as the peasants were suppressed and full of fear, it was useless to visit the courts. He wanted to set them free from their fear of the British. Most of the cultivable land in the Champaran district was actually owned by Englishmen. Means Englishmen were the owners of the land that was fit for cultivation, right? Who had divided them into various estates or property. The peasants were the occupants of these lands. Englishmen forced these hired peasants to cultivate only indigo. Why? Because indigo was the chief commercial crop of that time, right? So the peasants were forced by Englishmen to cultivate indigo on 15% of their land. Here, this was their long-term contract or agreement that you need to understand. 100% land that was fit for tilling was under Englishmen. Englishmen themselves could not cultivate the land. Therefore, they hired the poor Indian peasants to work on their land, and they forced those peasants to cultivate only indigo on 15% of the whole land and surrender the entire profit of that indigo 15% holdings to them as rent. And this was the long-term contract, and all this was done through an agreement. So the Indian peasants were forced by Englishmen to grow indigo on 15% of the cultivated land and surrender the entire amount of indigo as rent for using their land. So children, in this lecture number 1, we will be doing till here only, right? Otherwise it will be very tough for you to understand this important chapter indigo. So let's proceed towards homework. Your homework is read the chapter indigo thoroughly from page number 46 to 48 till it is taught in this lecture from your main course book Flamingo, and underline all the difficult words with their meanings. Thank you. Have a nice day.